Hello, this is Chris Ryland with M Software with a WordsFlow walkthrough for Adobe Systems. This is a somewhat informal, perhaps even raw, engineer-to-engineer presentation with a look behind the scenes. We assume you've already seen the WordsFlow in action in user screencast, which is not complete, but which does give a good user-level motivation and introduction to WordsFlow. We'll try to show all the features working on a small scale of stripped down examples to keep things obvious. But they do work on a large scale as well. We have thousands of users doing that daily. We'd be happy at some point to have an interactive session with you, perhaps with more of us here to answer questions and show whatever you'd like. And in this first part, we'll show how WordsFlow is fully integrated into the InDesign linking system. Okay, our first step is to place with WordsFlow a simple demo file we have. So we'll place with WordsFlow, select the first demo. Standard defaults on the Word options, and there it is. There's the content, same as over here in Word. Now the link is a normal looking link. You can't tell anything from the info that it's special, but it does have the WordsFlow icon on the frame, on the text frame. If we turn frame edges off, it goes away, but it's there normally, along with the link icon that InDesign supplies. And this is a live content link, which we'll get to later, but for now it's just a normal link for all the purposes. And the main point here is that it looks exactly like a normal link and behaves like one. So for example, if we were to change this article, say maybe make this an abbreviation, a author, and come back, of course the link has been updated, so we get the warning modified icon, and we can update that, double-clicking that icon. And there it is, a author. Or if you undo the update, we can update it the usual way by update link. Again, an author, or we can update all links and so on. There's all the ways of updating work. We can relink to a different article. We have a demo 2 there. Let's do that. Let's relink this demo 1 link to demo 2. And then there we go. It's the second article, and so on. It's this article. It's this document here, demo 2. So relinking works. We can of course unlink anytime. We can unlink, and finally. We can edit link content. So we have to go to the linking document here. Edit original from the link manual. There we are editing it. If we change this and come back, then we can automatic update to the change we just made. We can of course duplicate stories. Duplicate stories. You can get another link there. Gives us 2 links to the same thing. We can delete stories. Let's delete this whole story. It's gone. The link goes away. What's left is the 1 link here. And you can basically, also the last thing, of course, we can do is drag and drop. Let's put back our demo 1 story over here. And there we go. So drag and drop placement also works the same. I apologize for taking over 2 minutes to show you how links work in InDesign, which you surely know. But I wanted to drive home that WordsFlow's live links look and work like normal static links in all aspects. And that WordsFlow's links are extended from InDesign's normal links and inherit all their behaviors, with all WordsFlow operation invisible to the user, except for the initial place with WordsFlow. During an import, WordsFlow is piggybacking entirely on the built-in import filters and filter options for things like Word, ODT, RTF, plain text, Excel, etc. All current word style mappings, etc. are in effect, and WordsFlow doesn't add or subtract from that. We didn't bother to show that since it's all standard. There's no change at all to normal InDesign import processes when placing a WordsFlow link, just a post-import step that captures the needed metadata and stores it on the link. Since InDesign is a black box, it took us a huge amount of effort to learn how to manage the metadata on the WordsFlow extended links reliably. It took us years to solidify, given the many subtle ways that links can be affected by operations on a document. Now let's see what WordsFlow's quite sophisticated update merge engine does step by step. Before we get into the theory of how the merge engine works, let's look at it in practice. So first we'll do the place with WordsFlow with our demo file, demo 1. Now, which is the same as we have in our Word file. And let's style it all. The first thing to note is that once styles are assigned by hand or by mapping in InDesign, the styles on that side are maintained in the face of editing almost by definition, since the merge engine prioritizes InDesign styles over Word styles. So, for example, if we change some content in the Word document, maybe make this the second article and change a word down here. In the second paragraph, become update the link with WordsFlow. Sure enough, then the second article changed, the article title changed, and the first word of the second paragraph changed, maintaining their styles, of course. Now, one major feature of the WordsFlow's merge engine is that when change tracking is on for a given story, it creates separate tracks for two pseudo users, one for each side, InDesign and Word. So we can open the story editor at any point and see what happened. In this case, all that changed was on the Word side, the yellow user. This word was changed in the article title, and this word was changed in the second paragraph. Let's clear all the changes for later. And also, character styles are handled just fine. If we put a character style emphasis on that word and change it over here in Word, maybe call this parent, change it to parent, save it, update it. Then sure enough, it comes in with the proper character style applied, even though the content changed. And that, of course, works if we add stuff, paruntis, let's say, paruntum, change it there, update it here. It will, since it's touching over here in the Word file, it will maintain the character style for the whole word. And of course, if we add things outside there, not honest, estis, around it, and save it, then sure enough, that comes in properly non-styled. Now, style changes in Word are respected unless the styling has already been applied on the InDesign side. So, for example, if we change a word here to bold, let's say, or change the first word here to bold, and this first word in the third paragraph to italic, save that and bring it in. Sure enough, you have bold, first word in paragraph 2, and first word in paragraph 3 is italic. Now, content movement is respected in InDesign, of course, and changes in Word are made by context, not by location. For example, if we take this whole first paragraph and put it at the very end, paragraph 1 is now the last paragraph. Now, if we change things in Word in that paragraph, again, let's maybe make this aliusque, change the first two words to aliusque, update it in InDesign, and sure enough, the words change, even though it's not in the same order as it is in the Word document. And of course, any content changes, content movement in Word are honored in InDesign. If we move paragraph substitute after paragraph 3 and update. They're swapped here in design as well. Of course, within paragraphs, if we move things around, if we move Maximus et dolor vid to the end, let's say, of the paragraph 3, then sure enough, Maximus et dolor vid is moved to the end in paragraph 3 and InDesign. Now, content insertions in InDesign are respected, of course. So if we add a paragraph 1a, non bastardi carborundum, and then make a change in Word around there. Let's say add some more content to this paragraph. Et non est validus. Then we come back here. The addition is made, and the insertion we made here in InDesign is left intact. And that works as well for graphics. So if we say place a graphic anchored in the body of the text here in InDesign, then whatever else we do in the Word file, we'll leave that alone, respect that insertion. Now, deletions in InDesign are also respected. So if we decided that we're going to just delete paragraph 2 entirely, then it's gone. And even if we work on things around it, say we add things to paragraph 3, another phrase in English. When that's updated, that comes in and is unfazed by the fact that that's a paragraph 2 entirely deleted in the InDesign document. Okay, we just cleaned things up a bit since we're working in such a small sample. It's getting a bit messy. Now, content insertions in Word are respected and styled heuristically. For example, let's insert a new paragraph after paragraph 1, para 1a. Alia jacta est. And then that's inserted, of course, in the proper place in InDesign. And the correct style is applied here, of course, the body style. Now, WordsFlow can't read your mind, and nor is it omniscient. So, for example, if we had a style assigned, a first body style on this paragraph, on the first paragraph, and we inserted a paragraph 0, another paragraph here, then when that's updated, it's picked up the style of the paragraph above it, which in this case is the byline. So it's not perfect. You'll have to, make that the body first, and the second one a normal body. There's no way really around checking carefully after all updates to make sure that nothing has gone wrong with the formatting or with story overflow or whatever. That's just a normal part of editing and living with multiple people working on the same story. And of course, content deletions in Word are respected. So if we delete the last phrase in this first paragraph, the last sentence of first paragraph, and update, it's gone. And if we happen to look at the story editor, you can see it deleted there. Now let's do some heavy editing of a paragraph on both sides to see what it looks like. Save that. When the updates are made, of course, the merges are all changed, but that's hard to see. So again, let's open the story editor to see what happened. We see our changes here in orange, the insertion of the em dash, the change to the sentence structure, adding the quotes, and then over on the other side we saw the word change into use, quintius, and a deletion of 2 words there. Having just cleaned things up a bit once again, let's show a content change conflict on both sides. So for example, in this first word of the second paragraph, on the InDesign side, we'll make ARMA, and on the word side, we'll make it Virum, and update. What happens is that we get a note here where WordsFlow warns us that the competing insertion was pushed forward, meaning the ARMA that we typed, that we edited, changed, conflicts with the Virum that the word user changed. And so we have to decide really which one do we want. So we can clear that note. But decide we'll use the word user's edit. And so that's fine. Now, we can also show how a content change on the word side is never lost, even if it's otherwise deleted in InDesign. For example, let's delete the third paragraph in InDesign. And meanwhile, the word editor, not knowing that's been deleted, inserts something they think is important. Say ARMA Virumque as a phrase, saves that, and updates the link. Well, what happens is WordsFlow notes that there's no third paragraph here, but that phrase, ARMA Virumque, is not going to be lost. And so it warns us with a couple of notes there that the adjacent text was deleted, actually 2 notes, and delimiting the insertion point. So we have to decide what to do with that insertion. So normally we talk to the author or decide that it doesn't matter. And so, it's, we'll just delete it and forget about it. I was going to go on to show table handling in both Word and Excel in the Pro product, but this is already going on rather long, and it would be another few minutes. In the interest of brevity, I'll just say a few things about table handling. The Pro product, when dealing with Excel spreadsheets, again piggybacks on the normal Excel import process. There's no change at all to that process in InDesign. And since we deal with ICML exclusively internally, Excel sheets end up looking just like Word tables or word processor tables internally, and all that merge engine logic is shared between both of them. The WordsFlow merge engine uses table structures as a major factor in its context finding job, so that changing content, moving, inserting, deleting rows and columns on either side all work well, and of course formatting is maintained on the InDesign side. But with that, let's go into the theory of how the merge engine works. When WordsFlow updates a story link, it's doing a 3-way difference/merge. It compares the previous state of the external document to the current state of the external document to find the differences, and then it merges in those differences to the InDesign document. It finds where to merge by context, not by position, so the InDesign user can freely insert and delete and move content, and the external editing will still find its target. When there are conflicts in styling, InDesign wins, quote, but with no warning. Where there are conflicts in content, the external document wins, but with a warning left as a note. Content changes are context-driven, not position-driven, and thus can track all edits in either document, even after movement on either side. The engine maintains repositioning of Word-anchored elements in InDesign, even if later moved in Word. WordsFlow knows it's the same graphic by content hashing. WordsFlow has smart styling. It learns from consistent styling changes in InDesign. For example, if underlines in Word are turned into italics in InDesign, and applies those automatically later. These are simple rules, but which combine in quite complex ways, especially with heuristics involved. The merge engine certainly isn't perfect, and we know of ways to improve it, but it seems to work very well in reality after years of honing. With thousands of users, I don't think we've gotten a single question about update merge behavior for a year or two. The Pro version of WordsFlow, beyond spreadsheet one-way support, gives you two-way workflow with Word. Specifically, WordsFlow update link document and export with WordsFlow. Let's see how they work. First, we'll close the Word file, since it won't work to update it if it's open. Then we'll use WordsFlow update linked document. Let's open that, and you can see that it's identical to the story in InDesign with the heading assigned, style assigned, byline, body, character styles. It's all there. There's no layout geometry, of course, but that's the same as on import. It's the pure story contents. Let's imagine we didn't have a link story before. So I'll link that. But rather decided to have someone, even perhaps ourselves, do some serious word editing in our story. For that, we'd use WordsFlow, export with WordsFlow. We'll call this Demo 1 Export. And again, if we look at Word at that document, it's the same format as in the story and ready to edit. It also creates a link to the story by default. So it's ready to be edited and then updated as soon as we get the edits done. And of course, if you don't want the link, you can always just remove it and you're done. But let's say you do want something, want to keep the link, and you're doing editing over here. So let's say we delete a couple of words and change another word to Aliokwe, and then save that. And sure enough, the link again is done. And here we go with the words deleted. If we look at the changes, the words are deleted, and it's inserted. It's left over, and we have leftover conflict alert from before. It's important to note that the merge engine doesn't lose elements in InDesign that can't be expressed in Word. Rather, they're not exported and then treated effectively and normally like insertions on the InDesign side. We had to write our own export engines for Word, DocX, and ODT, Open LibreOffice, which were certainly big challenges, but we can also use them for Google Docs and DocsFlow. Given this, we can only update Word and OpenOffice documents, which is not a big limitation in the current market. One real limitation we noted earlier: WordsFlow recreates the InDesign story formatting as closely as it can and completely clobbers whatever formatting the Word user had on update. In the future, when we have our own Word importer, we could do three-way update merge on the output as well as input, and attempt to retain as close to the original Word formatting as possible by only merging into the InDesign changes and maintaining Word styling, just like we maintain styling on InDesign on the other direction. One currently missing piece is anchored groups on export. We do have the logic to handle anchored groups on export, but the current Word import filter can't handle them correctly on input, so we had to disable that feature. Once we have our own importer that handles them, we can fully round-trip anchored groups. In spite of all the complexity of what goes on behind the scenes, WordsFlow is still utterly intuitive and simple to use. One place with WordsFlow and that's it. All further interaction with the WordsFlow link uses a standard InDesign link machinery user interface. The only real menu items are Place with WordsFlow, Update Link Document, and Export with WordsFlow. Everything else is ancillary. Place with WordsFlow could even be just a live link checkbox in the normal place dialog for an almost invisible user interface. We believe that WordsFlow's live links are what people generally want and would certainly expect if they're naive. Most first-time users are probably surprised that updating a text or spreadsheet link completely clobbers their work after a warning. And that's it for the walkthrough. Thanks for bearing with us here, and we're happy to dig in as far as you'd like in further recorded screencasts or interactive screen sharing sessions.